Hi guys, I'm back with Miss Allen, and we are here doing our third coaching session for the Impact Cycle. We are on the part Improve. So, given the time we have today, what is the most important thing you want us to talk about?
The strategy that we've been putting into place with working on my students during reading workshop time, I kind of want to talk to you about the progress that I've seen so far with them using the digital stopwatches, and maybe, if we could think about fixing some things or some questions I had for you and stuff like that.
Okay, sounds good. What's on your mind?
Well, we are transitioning into milestone testing, which is coming up in the next 4 weeks. And so I'm in this time in my classroom where I'm having to do a lot of test prep strategies. And so I love this goal and I love the progress that I've seen with it. So I'm kind of trying to figure out how can I keep utilizing it in my classroom, but also making sure that they feel prepared for the test as well.
And just to recap, your goal was to increase student focus during reading workshop by 80%.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And we were going to use checklists to keep them accountable. It was going to be like the student keeps themselves accountable kind of
Right,
thing.
right. So helping them, keep themselves on task, keep themselves focused, and hold themselves accountable by doing all that.
Yes. And on that checklist we had they had to have or the checklist you had to use to check off if they did it was also something we added on there.
Mm-hmm.
So yes. So what has gone well with that, with the progress of that goal that we made?
The students were definitely more engaged and eager to get to their second rotation. So like I had mentioned in the past few videos, they can sit down and do their independent tasks, but a lot of them are or were at the point of not getting to their second rotation. So there was no free time for reading. They weren't getting to their technology station or going to the media center because they were just wasting time. And so I have noticed a lot more students have gotten to their second rotation, which is obviously what the point of the goal was. And so that part has gone well because they were excited to use the digital tool and excited to kind of hold themselves accountable for that. So, yeah, I'm proud of it.
I know, that is really good. So what are you seeing that shows that this strategy is becoming or that is successful?
I've seen a lot of them get to that second rotation, so that's super successful in my eyes, because if they're not getting to that independent reading time, they're not getting to authentically just sit there with the book, then that's a concern. And so I've seen a lot of that, so that showed that it's been successful. And also some of the behaviors have gone down, so that distracting behavior of off-task talking and taking away from others has gone down because they have been so focused on keeping track of their time and moving on when they know they should. So a lot of positive behaviors come from it.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yes, I did notice that when we did the first lesson together, that they were really engaged and ready to start. But I was kind of concerned of how that would play out afterwards. But I'm glad that it's going well and it's progressing well. What progress has been made toward the goal?
Well, I know, like we said, we wanted 80%, and that first day that you were in there, every student was on task and got to that second rotation. I think part of it was a new face in the classroom, and they were eager to try it. But around average of 70% as the week continued to go on. There was a few stragglers who weren't getting to where they needed to be and who were still distracted, but we've made from 40 to 70 is a lot of growth in my eyes, and so I'm super pleased with how it's been going so far.
Good, because that is a big step. However, from 40 to 70 is huge. But we do want to make it towards that 80 goal that we had, because we want to see more involvement and more engagement with your students. So what did you learn, or what did the process of this goal teach you?
I knew that technology would engage them, but it also surprised me that how much it motivated them. I had a lot of them that just were really excited to show me their progress. They wanted to come to my desk after reading workshop was over and be I got through my task and in my second rotation. They were super motivated, and that really surprised me and excited me. And I just learned that I can use these kinds of tools throughout different subject areas. I don't need to just do it in reading, like if it's going to motivate them in the classroom, I could use it like in lots of places.
Mm-hmm. That is very true, because we have so many areas that we could progress more towards this like focus that they need. So what kind of roadblocks did you run into?
The few students who were still getting distracted and like not using the digital tool how they're supposed to. I noticed a few friends were on the iPads doing something else instead of doing their task at their desk. And so definitely need to keep an eye on that. So that was a little surprising and kind of disappointing that some of them would still do that, but you know, it's technology. And then just like a roadblock that I am running into is just the time before testing. Like I want to do this goal, and students will still be having independent time. I just need to figure out how to squeeze it in with test prep and where it'll fit best in my classroom.
Okay, and that's totally understandable, because we do have to prep them for those like coming tests, and it's not like you're replacing reading workshop, but you do need more time to kind of just guide them through like what that's going to look like soon, because they've never done it before.
Right.
So I can see how that can be like something that is blocking the progress of this goal. Do you want to keep using this strategy as it is?
Yeah, I definitely want to keep using it. I'm just trying to think, like, I guess I'll still, with test prep, I'll still have a mini lesson. And so they will have time to go back and then apply that test prep skill that I was reviewing with them. So they'll definitely have an independent task time and still have time to do a free choice. So I think there's a way that it'll be able to still work in the room.
Okay, so we can keep the strategy. Do you want to revisit how you use the teaching strategy, like how it's used in the classroom?
So when I think back on how I've done test prep in the past, it gets a little bit like redundant, because it is a lot of like I model and then you go practice that skill. And so I kind of want to maybe think of like including like a reward or something, like if they get to a certain amount of tasks throughout the week, you know, and they complete it successfully with their rotation, maybe reward them some way so they can feel proud of like the progress, and they're still being accountable for taking the time down and, you know, staying accountable for that task.
And that could even motivate like your stragglers that are still struggling to keep those times and are getting distracted and stuff.
Yeah.
That could be a huge motivation for them. So I think that's a great idea to add in there. Do you want to choose a new strategy, or do you want to choose a new strategy?
No, I don't think I feel comfortable right now changing it. Like I think we're good with the digital stopwatch and continuing this like through the end of the year and helping them learn how to use the stopwatch, learn how to take the time, learn how to complete tasks within a certain amount of time. So I think what we have right now is good. Just adding in that reward part of it.
That would be more beneficial to just using a stopwatch and cutting that. Okay, do you want to change the way we measure progress toward the goal? Because I know we said we were going to use checklists and you were going to check for progress. And I know you just said that you wanted to do rewards, but do you want to change like the way you measure it?
Well, I was thinking, since we are going to try to do some sort of reward with it, maybe within the student's checklist, they can put like a star the day that they do complete their task and get to their second like rotation. And so at the end of the week, I can check in and see like how many stars they completed out of the 5 days. And so maybe like something realistic could be like, did you get to 4 rotations out of 5 and get that task done? And so I think kind of like checking in with them at the end of the week would be like probably easier and more manageable with everything going on right now.
Okay. And I know we said that we were going to do dry erase checklists, but since you want to do that other part with the, maybe we could do like stars or something, I don't know, some kind of like thing where they can color in the days that they do their 2 stations. So do you want to turn that into like paper now so you can like use that daily? I mean, not daily, weekly?
Weekly. That'd probably be easiest because I do teach 2 rounds of rotations, 2 groups. So if they turn it in, I'll be able to like check it and have it right there and refer back to it if I need to as, you know, test prep goes on.
Yes. Okay.
So paper version would be easier to keep up with for me.
Okay. Sounds like a plan. Do you want to change the goal?
No, I'm happy with what it is. I think with them being near 70% average right now, I think keeping it at 80 for now would be good.
Mhm. And if you change your goal, that might make it harder. Okay, so we have established that we are going to add rewards
Mm-hmm.
and that we are now going to make the checklist in paper so that they can turn it in every Friday, and then you can check it, and then that way you can have like a record of like who gets the rewards and like who doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
So when should we meet again to talk about how this is going to go?
Probably like after testing. I'm thinking, let me see like how test prep goes, and then kind of like, get through all the testing stuff, and then we can meet again because we still have a few weeks after testing, so we could, tweak it or see what we need to do for all that.
Okay. So what tasks have to be done before we meet? I have to make the paper copies. We have to make the paper copies. We have to edit that checklist to add the daily kind of like coloring in if you did it
Yeah.
part.
I'll have to introduce the STAR part to the students, so that'll be something that I'll make sure that I do before I start implementing again. And then I'm gonna just continue to try to use the strategy as much as I can and keep track of it in my classroom.
Okay, sounds like a plan.
Yeah.
So when will those tasks be done? By me, it'll be like as soon as possible because you need to start with that new checklist.
Same here. I mean, I'll be putting it into place as soon as I get, those copies from you.
Yes. And who will do them? Well, I will get the checklist done, like we just said, and you will prep them in the classroom and guide them through that new checklist. Okay, so on a scale from 1 to 5, how committed are you to this goal?
A 5 for sure. I definitely want to see my students on task. I want to help them, know that they can get their tasks done, know that they can move on and not feel stuck. I want them to feel focused. So yeah, I'm super, super committed. Definitely a 5.
Good. I'm super excited to see how this progresses even more with that change that we made, because I do think that it'll motivate like both the kids that are already doing great and the kids that need more of that motivation in the classroom. And then we are going to do this as soon as possible. I know that's not an exact date, but as soon as possible is like this week.
Yes.
And we want that 70% now to increase to 80%, so we can actually make our goal.
Yes.
Okay, that's great. I look forward to seeing you, getting those copies to you, and then also meeting again to see how everything is going.
Yeah, and I'll definitely reach out if I have any questions.
Yes, please do.
All right.
All right. Well, thanks. Thanks, guys.